Okay, let's start. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु महाविद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay, let's start with 15th chapter. You guys are good? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhmūlamādhashākha Ashvattham Paryuravyayam Chandasi yasya parnāni Vastam vedasa vedavid Adhashchovartha prasutastasya shakha Guna pravriddha vishaya pravala Adhascha mula nanusantataनि Karmāna bandhini manushya-loke Narupamasye tathopalabhyate Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta Ashvatthamenam sugarudhamulam Asanga-shastrena dridena chitva Tata padam tat parimargatavyam Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya Tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yata pravritti prasuta puran Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama Dvande vimukta sukha dukkha sangye Gacchantya-mūಢā padamavyayam tat Tatad vasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka Yad-gatva na nivartante tad-dhama paramam mama Mamevansho jīva-loke jīva-bhūta sanatana Mama shastānindriyāni prakriti-sthāni karshita Shariram yatvāpnoti yacchāpyakarmatishvara Gruhitvaitani sanyati vāyurgandhani vāshiyat Śrotram chakshusparshanam cha rasanam granameva cha Adhisthāya manashchāya vishayānupasevate Utkramantam sitam vāpi bhujjānam vāguṇāvitam Vimūಢānānupashyanti pashyanti jnānachakshusha Yatanto yoginasceva pashyantyātmāvivaśitam Yatantopyakrutātmāno nainam pashyantyacetasa Yadādityagatam tejo jagadbhāsayate kilam Yachandramasi yacchāno tattejo vidyamāmaka Kame vishacha bhutani dharayamyaham mojasa Pushpani choshati sarva somo bhuktva rasatmaka Aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashata Pranapana samayukta pacham yamya chaturvidam Sarvasya chaham mritavinnivisto Matta smritirjnanamapohanam cha Vedeshcha sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta kurdeda videva cha Tvamimo purusho loke Ksharakscha akshara eva cha Kshara sarvani bhutani Kutastam ksharamochyate Uttama purushesvena
Paramatmitadarata
Yo
Lokatayamavishya
Vivartavya Vishvara Yasmakshara atitoham Aksharadapi chotama Atosmi loke vede cha Prathita purushottamam Yo mamevam sammudo Janati purushottamam Sa sarva vidya jati mam Sarva bhavena bharata Iti guhyatam sastram Idam muktam maya naga Etad buddhva buddhimascha Kruta krutascha bharata Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottam Yoga Nama Panchodasha. Okay, let's get back to our original chapter. Chapter 8. Okay. So last week we talked about those two paths, right? So God said after death, what happens to two different people, right? There are four kind of different people in this world, depending on the spirituality, right? So there are four kind of different people. One who is already enlightened. They don't need to know what happens after death or what, because they are never born, never dead, never die. So there is no reason for them to anything to understand these things, right? Then there are one people who are really non-ethical. They don't do right things. They are in this world to hurt people, to do bad things. So God is not talking about those two people, right? Who is too extreme of both sides. So he's talking about most population. These are like 10% of bottom, 10% of the top. So he's talking about 80% of the people who are in the middle. So one kind of people who do worship to gain some worldly things, like let me do this prayer so I can get this better, let me do this kind of prayer so I can get money, or let me do this kind of prayer, I can get peace, or I can get good job, I can get these things in the world, I can get somebody who I want, kind of those things, right? So those kind of people who go to temple, who worship, who has really from heart, they connect with God and everything, but they connect with there is something outcome they want, right? So those kind of people are one kind that God says God shows two different paths. And there are one kind of people who want to know God, who doesn't want anything else worldly, but he wants to know what is this, who I am, who is God, how is this connected, what is it? So kind of those people who want to know just where I stand and where God stands. And there's curiosity, that jigyasu person who wants to know God and who wants to go to that path, and the ultimate goal is, the supreme goal for them is to get to know him, kind of that thing, right? So God says there are two paths that these two people go after death. And the first path he talked about was the path of light, right? Let's go back to, I think, the shlok number. It was the 24th, right? And he says that the one is that in which, so these are two paths, right? So we are only talking about between the four kind of people we talk about, we are only talking about between two people, like not two extremes. So the first one, that is the one who wants to know God, who wants to know who I am, why is this world, what is it about, and they walk on this spiritual path to know, be curious about the world, and the curiosity about the world, curiosity about God, want to know God, read scriptures, read a different kind of religion to figure out what path, how can I reach him. So that person, after death, this is what happened to them. So he says that the one in which are stationed at all influent fire god and the deity proceeding over daylight, the bright fortnight, and the 6th month of northward curse of the sun, respectively, proceeding along it after death yogis who have known Brahman, being successive led by the above gods, finally reach Brahman. So he's talking about all these places he goes, which all guided by these deities. So he talks about the deity of fire. So the god of fire, and show them the path. So lot of people, and I spoke about this last week too, a lot of people had near death experience, and if you read them, there is a book also, if you read them, they always say that somebody shows them the path. A bright light comes and they take them to somewhere, and then somebody takes them to somewhere else, and then somebody was taking them to somewhere else. So that's the same thing it's said here. So the fire deity comes first, take that person's, which is not the physical body, the subtle body, right? We're talking about the subtle body here. So they take them to some place, then the deity of daylight, then the deity of northern sun, when the sun is towards the northern side of the direction, right? Half of the 6th month sun is towards northern direction, 6th month the sun is towards south direction. So the northern side of the sun, the deity who is responsible for that takes over, then take you, and ultimately you reach to Brahmaloka or Brahman, and then that's how your proceeding is. And this is the person who knows Brahman, or who knows about the spiritual ladder. And again, I'm not just talking about the Hindu religion here, that we're talking about who knows Brahman. It could be the person who is in Christianity also at that level. They might not say Brahman, they might say Christ, or they might say something else. The same thing in other religions, right? So you can take any religion, but the person who knows that they are guided, their path is guided by these deity, and they take them to the ultimate goal, right? So that was one person who is advance in spirituality. Now, not sure that they got enlightened, but they will be taken to Brahmaloka by these deity. Then the second one is the one that the other path. Now in this, who are the responsible deity? Here the god of smoke. So god of smoke, the night, the dark fortnight, the 6th month of the southern course of sun, then those yogi, after the death, they are led by these god, and they go to whichever loka, 7 loka we discussed. So whichever loka they are responsible, they have done their work or their actions, their karma, they go to these 7 different worlds depending on their karma, and then they reach there. Which now these 2 paths are also described as, from here, the second path that we are discussing right now, people come back. There is a return ticket to them, right? The first path that we talk about, the brighter path, there is no return ticket. So they go to Brahmaloka, they stay there, they stay in this same land as God. They stay with them. So the first path, the brighter path, if you go there, then you stay there. You don't return to earth, or you don't return to any other lokas. Now the second path, the darker path, where they go there, but then there is a return ticket. So you have to come back. So that's the difference between both the paths. So again, we know what kind of people go to what path, and where you don't want to return, and at one place you return back. So anywhere you go below the Brahmaloka, the Brahmaloka is the highest loka in our religion. So Brahmaloka, if you don't reach there, the first path goes there, Brahmaloka. So you stay there, then whatever you miss here in your spiritual path, wherever you are, you start advancing from there, and then you stay there, you don't return. All the other places, lok you go, like you go to Swarga, you go to Tapaloka, or you go to all the other 6 loka that we talk about. If you go to any other loka, you return back, your karma exhausted. Whatever prayers you did in this loka, on the earth, when we are talking about it, the people who asking for worldly desires, but they did more than they got, right? They did a lot of prayers, more than they got. Then what happens is, those people, when the karma exhausted, they come back to earth, or they come back to wherever they belong to, right? So they keep going to loka and different lokas and coming back. But people who go to the top one, they don't come back, right? So that's where we were till last week. Now we will start with shlok number 26, when he's going to compile both path, and he's going to talk about that. Okay, now these 2 paths are, now what is the difference and what path is better for us? So just to give an guidance that what is the comparison between both 2 paths, right? Okay, let's go. Reha, you want to read the 26th shlok?
Oh, sure. Sorry, I was talking and I didn't unmute.
Okay.
Okay. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete
Shukla Krishne Gati Hete
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Ekaya Yatyana Vrittim
Ekaya Yatyava Vrittim
Anya Vartate Puna
Anyaya Vartate Punah. Together. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Vatyaya Vritti Man Anyaya Vartate Punah. Okay. So here Shukla and Krishna, right? So those were the 2 paths. Shukla is the brighter path, Krishna is the darker path. And Krishna, again, make sure the word Krishna literally mean here dark, right? It doesn't mean Krishna Bhagwan. So, and Krishna is said Krishna because he was dark in color, right? So that was the word meaning. Krishna meaning was, oh, you want to say the word meaning? I forgot. Can you go over?
Shukla, light, Krishna, darkness, Gati, ways of passing, He, certainly, Ete, these 2, Jagata of the material world, Shashvate of the Vedas, Mate, in the opinion, Ekaya, by one, Yati, goes, Anavartim, to no return, Ananyaya, by the other, Avartate, comes back, Puna, again.
Okay. So what he's saying is, these 2 paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are considered to be eternal. So both are eternal, means it's going to happen, right? It's for sure, this is what's going to happen. Proceeding by one of them, one reaches the supreme state from which there is no return. And proceeding by the other, one returns to the mortal world. That is, becomes a subject of birth and death once more. Okay, so that's, I already explained this part, but one more time. So Shukla is the brighter path, the path that we discussed the first, then darker path. Those 2 paths are eternal, means it's definitely gonna happen, right? So it's not that it's gonna be, oh, okay, for some person it will not happen. It will happen, right? Now, for enlightened and for the person who is very unethical, they don't have this path, right? So they will go different ways. There will be, for enlightened person, they are already there. We don't have to worry about it. They are already in the Brahmaloka. They live here, their body is there, but they already have moksha already, so there is nothing for them to reach or go or wherever. The people who are very unethical, they don't go on these lokas. They are already in the the bottom of the 7 lokas. That's other 7 loka from earth, right? So we are not talking about the people who does prayers, who are in worship, and then the people who are on the spiritual path. So they pick one of them, Shukla or Krishna. So both of them are eternal. It has to happen. They both are good, right? Whichever path, at least we are not on the bottom path. So that's a good thing to think about, that people who are very unethical. Then they say that one is returned back, one is no return. And return where? To birth and death, mortal world, where is birth and death. So again, all the other loka also have birth and death, right? Except the Brahma loka, every loka has birth and death. So now somebody has done really good work, charity and everything, they will go to a better than earth, right? There are better lokas than earth. So they will go to those. But then there is also birth and death there. So birth and death is always there. So they change, but they come to the loka where there is birth and death, right? So that's what he is saying. Now, there was a question asked by one of the person a long time ago. There is a story that there was a question asked that who is happy in both lokas. Both loka means after the death, wherever they go, and on this loka, on the earth, who is one that is happy in both loka? Who is one that is happy there, not here, right? Who is happy after the death or in the loka, and who is not happy here? One person, right? Then one person who is happy here but not happy there, right? And the person who is not happy in both the lokas, right? So they were asking, like, tell us about this person. There was a king who asked his the smartest mantri, smartest minister, that tell me these 4 people. Who are these 4 people? Now he was thinking and he couldn't find out, but his daughter was really intelligent. So he was very worried about, because he had to answer the king next day. So he was very worried about it. So daughter asked, why are you worried? So dad says that, hey, a king asked me this question. Tell me about these 4 people. Who are those people? And I need to know them. And I couldn't figure out who are those people who can categorize in these 4 categories. So then the daughter was smart. She said, don't worry about it. Tell the king that I will come with you tomorrow, and we will bring some people with us. And then we will give the answer. So that's what happened. Next day they goes to the king's meeting, and they take 4 people with them. So the first one that he says that the first person was, as she goes to all these 4 people, the story is long, but I'm just cutting it short and telling you. So she requests all these people to come in the court. So the first one was the person who is happy here but not happy there. So she bring in the lady who a businessman who gain a lot of money but doesn't give anything to anybody, keep piling up the money for himself and his family, not to anybody else, and does wrong things to other people, right? So that kind of person is happy here. Because why is happy here? Because he can afford everything, he can do everything in here, but then he is not happy there, because after the death he doesn't get the right loka, and because he did such a bad thing in this world, that he was happy here but not happy there. Then she bring in the person who is not happy here but happy there, is the saints, right? Who the sannyasis who leave the house, live really tough life here. They actually depending on the food that they beg from people, so they're not happy. They don't enjoy worldly life here, so they are not happy in this world, but they are very happy after this world because they go to Brahmaloka, right? Then the people who are happy in both places, right? So in both places is the person who lived the life here ethically, right? Had good money because he is good businessman or good earning money, but however, so they are happy here, but he is giving a lot of charity, working on his spiritual path. So the person who got the money, the brain, to use it, and also do help other people to grow also, right? Give charity and stuff like that. They are happy here and they are happy there also, right? Now the person who is not happy here and not happy there is the labor. The person who is working so hard to get money to just eat one time of food, like who are really poor here, and they don't have time to even worship to God, right? They don't have time to go on spiritual path because their problems are just to get money to at least eat food. Like they are, they don't even have time to think about God or think about anything else. So those kind of people are not happy here, not even happy there. So those four kind of people that she mentioned, and the king was very happy, and story goes on. But I was just wanted to get the part out of this story is, right, it's not that always that you have to take sannyas and you have to renounce everything and do it. Even if you do like that business person or that person who has money and thing, they can also be the two people, like they have all the money, they had everything, but they still were sad. He is sad up there. They were happy here but sad there because they were not living ethical. They were not doing they were not sharing their part. They were thinking it's my money and they were holding it. That person also will not be happy after that. And the person, so that one person that is happy here and happy there also need lot of moral, lot of things to think about other people, think about not just himself, think about the society, think about other things. So the person who goes to that path is happy there and happy here also, right? So that's one thing we need to think about. Like we are in this worldly life, we are not thinking about, okay, we are leaving this and going and just meditating in Himalayas and getting it. We're going to live in this life, so we have to make sure that and Krishna Bhagavan has explained a lot of good characters that we need to live with in some couple next chapters. It's really good that he specified that how to what you should have and what you should not have, what is the ethical and what is not ethical. Not just ethical, but also what gunas you should have, what characteristics you should have. So we will study that. But at this point, these are the two paths. Now, based on our karma, we will decide which path to go, right? So now we all know what are the two paths and which path we want to go. If you want to go to the path where it takes you to the upper lokas but bring you back to the the birth and death places, then we go through that path. If we are looking for something to go to Brahmaloka, then the brighter path is the one we want to take. Okay, so let's go to shlok number 27. Alia, you want to read that, beta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nayati Shruti Parata Janam
Nete Shruti Parth Janan
Yogi Muyati Kaschana
yogi muhyati kaschana.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
yoga yukta bhavarjuna.
yoga yukta bhavarjuna. Together. Nete shruti partha janan yogi muhyati kanchana tasyat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukta bhavarjuna. Meaning, Nanu?
No, never ate these two. Shruti, different paths. Partha, O son of Pritha. Janan, even if he knows. Yogi, the devotee of the Lord. Muyati is bewildered. Kastrana, any. Tasmat, therefore. Sarveshu kaleshu, always. Yoga yukta, engaged in Krishna conscious. Bhava, just become. Arjuna, O Arjuna.
So now what he is saying, for these two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are considered to be eternal. Oh, that we already did, right? Okay, knowing this path, O son of Kunti, no yogi gets deluded. Therefore, at all the time, be steadfast in yoga in the form of equanimity. So, he's saying that now that we know the secret, these two paths now. So after knowing this, the person who is who knows this, they never get deluded, they never go to unethical path, they never get deluded by that doing wrong things, right? So what happens, therefore, Arjun at the time, all the time, steadfast in the yoga. Yoga means in whatever path you took, right? The Gyan Yoga, the devotion, the Bhakti Yoga. So whatever path you took, that path or the path of equanimity, you should stay there all the time, right? So now we know it, we should not get distracted with this other things, right? So he says that both paths are good paths, right? Both paths are good paths, whichever path we can go to, right? Whichever path our karma takes us to, both paths are good, but we need to make sure that we don't delude it by any other one. If you go towards enlightened, that's good, but we don't need to go drop down to the fourth kind of person. So that's the path he's talking about, and he's saying that you have to constantly live in equanimity, right? Not hurting anybody, but that also the morality is the foundation. We talk about that in 6th chapter and 7th chapter also. Morality is foundation. Without that, people can go to temple so many times, people can do a lot of things, but if they are there to hurt other people, they are there to misuse or use other people or do other bad things, no matter how much times they're going to go to temple and worship God, it's not going to work. They will stay in the 4th category. So we need to make sure that we understand that the foundation is that, but then the next path is that what are we asking? If we are asking for worldly thing, we're going to take this path. If we are asking for spiritual thing, we are going to take that path, but then we don't get deluded, right? But we need to make sure that we start staying in that path all our life, right? Don't get disturbed with any don't get enticed with any things that are going around you, right? Be very focused, one focus, that okay, I am focused to this, then I'm focused to that. If you get focused to that, you will pick one of these two paths, right? Okay, let's do the shlok number 28, and this is the last shlok for this chapter, and then we will do a quick revision. Yay, recite him. Okay, Sean, you want to do that? Vedeshu.
Vedeshu yagneshu tapashu chaiva
Vedeshu cha yagneshu tapassu cheva
daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam
Daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam
atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva
Atyeti tat sarva idam viditva
yogi param stanam apeta chadyam.
Yogi param stan mupeti chadyam. Together. Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu cheva Daneshu yat punya phalam pratishta Atyeti tat sarva idam viditva Yogi param stanam upeti chadyam.
Vedeshu in the study of the Vedas, Yagneshu in the performances of Yagna, in the performances of Yagna sacrifice, Tapashu in undergoing different types of austerities, Ja also Eva certainly, Daneshu in giving charities, Yat that which, Punya Phalam result of pious work, Vadishtam indicated, Ajeti surpasses, Tatsarvam all those, Idam this, Viditva knowing, Yogi the devotee, Param supreme, Sthanam abode, Upeti achieves, Ja also, Adya original.
So what he is saying here is the yogi realizing this performed truth, right? Doubtless transcend all the rewards enumerate for the study of Vedas as well as for the performance of sacrifice, austerity and charity, and attain the supreme and primal state. So what he is saying that out of all these things, you do study of Vedas, you do fire sacrifice, the rituals, right? You do rituals, you do ascetic performance, you do charity. Out of all these, your one pointed focus on God is praised, it's gonna take over, like it's gonna be better off than all these things. So you practice all these things, but surrender to God is the highest one. That's what he is saying, right? This all will come to you. As soon as you surrender to God, all these things will come automatically to you. You don't even have to ask for it, right? God will give it. A lot of times God, in the chapters we will study, God will say you don't have to even worry about anything. If you surrender yourself to me, I will take care of you. It's my responsibility to take care of you then, right? You don't have to worry about anything else. I will take care of you. No matter how, where you are, what you are doing, it's my responsibility to take care of you. So what God is saying that even if you do all these things, it's better than doing all these things, then surrender it to me. These all things, I will give it to you, right? So I will provide all these things to you. One thing you have to do is just surrender yourself to me. Now, surrender, loud people don't take it the meaning like that okay, God will take care of me. I am just sitting, not doing anything. I will just sit here and God will take care of you because I surrendered to God. Surrender to God is a big thing. Don't take it a very small thing that I will do morning prayer and evening prayer and I am surrendering to God. No, that surrender to God is every single minute of your mind you are thinking about Him, right? That's very hard. It's not easy to do that, right? Even if you are working anything, you are doing anything, you are seeing God in that. Every human being, you are seeing God in there. It's very hard to do that, right? So it's not easy when you say, oh, surrender it to God and then God will take care of me, so I will stop doing anything. That doesn't happen. Even if you have to do something to surrender it to God, right? So you know what happens is when you are doing karma yoga, means every action you are devoting it to God, right? Every action you are doing, if you're devoting it, that's surrender to God. Everywhere you can see consciousness or God in everybody. That's surrender it to God. So if you do that, then everything else will come by itself, right? So he's saying all these charity, austerity, reading scriptures, you do all these things, but better doing those, you do one thing is surrendering to God, or what he's saying, that one pointedness, concentration on God will give you all the results of these things, right? So that's where God ultimately God leaves us with a point that if you surrender it to him, this is again the bhakti yoga. We are saying knowledge also comes with bhakti yoga. Lot of people I see that they do a lot of bhakti and then God gives them knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans never went to the classes. He was only doing bhakti to Ma Kali, and he kept doing bhakti, and Ma gave him the knowledge of all the Shastra. He doesn't have to sit in the classes, or the gurus used to come to him to teach him, right? He didn't even go anywhere else. So whatever happened, God gives you everything. If you leave, if you surrender it to him, and then you say, God, whatever good with you, whatever good is for me, you provide that to me. And then God will be very willing to provide everything what you need. You don't even have to go to temple to ask for these worldly things or ask for anything. He will automatically give it to you. So that's how it goes, right? So then let's go back. We have some time, right? I don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
So what we will do is, let me just do a quick summary of it, but I don't think so we have the whole summary time, right? So we can do that next class. How about you guys take the summary part of it, like how we did for the 7th chapter? So all of you, I will divide the shloks and then you come up with the summary for next Sunday. But I will just give you a overview, right? So that we start with this chapter, and the name of the chapter is Akshara Brahma Yoga. So Akshara means that cannot be imperishable. Yeah, I couldn't find the word. So imperishable, that cannot be perished. So that's the yoga that this chapter is. And in this main thing, what he says, Krishna Bhagavan, is what should we be doing at the time of death, and how can we reach to that point where we would be doing that at the point of the death. At the point of the death, we want to be surrendered to God, right? We want to die in a certain way that we surrender all our things to God. And to do that, we have to, all our life, we have to do those things, because we, at the time of the death, we will only do the things that we were doing that was the priority for our life, right? So if the priority would be anything, then we will be thinking about that at the point of death, right? So in this whole chapter, God explained what should we be doing all our life, that at the time of the death, we surrender ourselves to God. And then after death, what happens? And he explains that what kind of people go where, what kind of path they take, and then what happens after the death. So he explains all that thing. But ultimate goal for us is that ultimately he leaves us with the one point, that we should be preparing ourselves since we are born, or all our life, to make sure that we die with dignity, we die with surrendering ourselves to God, and that's how we will take the brighter path, and then we reach to the supreme goal. And he also explained in this chapter what is the supreme goal. So we reach to the supreme goal, and then we don't come back to this birth and death cycle again and again, right? So that's where he leaves. So with that said, it was a good, small, pretty chapter with a lot of information. We talk about the nadis, the Pingala and the Ida nadi. We talk about the energy centers in our body also. We talk about how Krishna Bhagavan says the soul or the Atma should come out of our body from which place, right? If it comes out of this place, out of these 7 chakras where the body, the soul comes out at the point of death. So we talk about that too. So I want you guys to add that part, whoever gets those shloks. Make sure take your notepad and remember what we talk about it and explain in those shloks. We also talk about, like, he says the energy, the life breath should start from heart, goes to the center of our mind, come out of these. This is the best death somebody can have, and it's non-return death, that you don't come to this loka. If your soul come out of any other part of your body, it means differently. So in our shastra it is given that what part of our body the soul comes out, that's what that what kind of karma they did and what's going to happen after the death for these persons. So that's very, again, we don't want to fall into that part because we are talking about in short, but there is a whole knowledge out there how the person when they die, what happens, where the soul comes out of the body. So that's another thing. Anything questions on this chapter? Any comments? Anything that you guys like, not like? We can discuss that also. Bring it over if you like, dislike, or anything that you are curious about in the next class, so we can do that. So we will end the class right now, and then we will do the summary next week. So there are 28 shloks and you are 4, so 7 shloks each. Who wants to take the first 7? Alia,
I can.
You do first 7? Okay. What next 7? Who wants to take next 7? So we can divide right here. Alia, you want to take next 7?
Sure.
Okay. So Sean, you take the... you take the last 7. Okay, Krish, take the middle 7 then. You all know what shloks, so get ready for the next week then. Okay, let's close it. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Gamshachanuramandanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.